What's up, y'all? It's DJ Brian. You're listening to The Drive-In on TBS efm 101.3 FM. I'm really sad right now. You know why? Because Christmas is over. I always get a little bit sad when Christmas is over because we spend so much time leading up to it. Like, you know, all the news, the sales, the shopping, the decorating. But now it's all over and I have to take the decorations down and, you know, it's just sad. But importantly, today is Boxing Day. Now, a lot of you might not know what Boxing Day is, so I'll explain a little bit more. Originally, Boxing Day is a day that people in the UK and other Commonwealth countries receive gifts from their employers. So it's kind of an employee appreciation day. And in recent times, though, Boxing Day represents another shopping day where people can get huge discounts on stuff that was not bought before Christmas. So they can also put all the gifts they didn't like into boxes and exchange it for stuff they really want. You shouldn't do that. Don't do that. Don't do the hand-me-down thing. I know a lot of people do that. So today we have a special show. As you know, Tim Burton was in Korea recently, and he opened his exhibition near City Hall. And you can go check that out right now until April 14th to see all these different pieces and of artwork from his films directed by Tim Burton. So just Google Tim Burton Exhibition Korea for more information. So today, instead of Musical Wednesday, we're going to talk about Tim Burton's work. So stay tuned for that, and that's after intermission. But first, we have a song from a really funny movie about the Jamaican bobsled team. One of my favorite movies growing up, and the movie was called Cool Runnings, and it was released in 1993. And although a lot of it was fictionalized, it was inspired by the Jamaica's first bobsled team that they sent to the Winter Olympics in Albertville, France in 1992. So here's a song, I Can See Clearly Now by Jimmy Cliff. Welcome back to The Driving. It's Boxing Day, and you're listening to The Driving. You're on TBS efm 101.3 in Seoul and surrounding areas, and GFN 98.7 in Gwangju and 93.7 in Yeosu. I'm your to-go guy for the hour, Brian Ju, and we always like listening to our listeners. I'm stuttering today because Christmas is over. I'm still going to cry all day. Anyways, you can call the studio at 02-778-1013. Send us a text at #1013, but you will be charged 51. Or you can send us an email at efmdrivin@gmail.com or simply tweet away at efmdrivin. That's our Twitter name, at efmdrivin. You can also leave us a message on our webpage. Just go to tbsefm.soul.kr and scroll down to the program list to The Drive-In. And there you'll see us, and you can write whatever you want to write. And if you have any requests at all, you're more than welcome to write it up on the walls or, you know, tweets, emails. But make sure they're from a movie or a TV show. I emphasize that many times, movie or TV show. And now it's time for the scene of the day. Today's scene of the day comes from the 1990 film Pretty Woman, starring Julia Roberts and Richard Gere. And Pretty Woman is a story about Lady of the Night and a rich gentleman who meets by chance. And they start to develop feelings for each other. And this is somewhat of a mature film, so I do not recommend you see this if you're too young. If you're not of age, do not watch this movie, please. And Richard Gere plays Edward Lewis, a businessman who is lost in Hollywood in a car that he can't even drive well. So he's trying to find his way through Beverly Hills, but since he is used to having a driver, because he's so rich, he doesn't know how to drive stick, and he doesn't know where he's going. And that's when Julia Roberts' character, Vivian, steps in to help. So let's listen to the scene where they first meet. Alright, just because you're a rich guy, you don't have to rely on the woman to drive your car. And that's what's going on in this scene. And actually, this movie is really good, but somewhat not realistic if you've seen this movie, just like I have. I saw this movie, I'm like, this is not realistic. It can't happen in real life. But surprisingly, this movie received very, very mixed reviews. Some people really liked it, and others think it was too much of a fantasy and that the ending is too idealistic. And this is Julia Roberts' breakthrough movie, and she won a Golden Globe Award for Best Actress. And she later became one of the highest profile actresses of the 1990s. And today's scene of the day was actually requested by Serena, and she also requested the hit single from this film, It Must Have Been Love by Roxette. And she also wrote us a message saying she wants to dedicate this to Brian and all the staff from The Drive-In and all the pretty ladies tuning in right now. Aw, thanks, Serena. That makes me think of a song. I know it has nothing to do with it, and the lyrics are wrong. All the pretty ladies, all the pretty ladies. Anyways, here's the song, It Must Have Been Love by Roxette from the Pretty Woman original soundtrack. That was It Must Have Been Love by Roxette from the Pretty Woman original soundtrack requested by Serena. Now, coming up on today's show, it's Wednesday. Normally, we have Musical Wednesday here at the Drive-In, but like I said before, today's going to be a little bit special, and we're going to be talking about Tim Burton. Yes, Mr. Timmy B himself. And Eugene will be joining me in the studio to talk about all the legendary work of this great director. So stay tuned for that after intermission. We've got a request right now. This song was requested by Mariko, and it's from the 1967 film, The Graduate. We've all actually featured this film on the scene of the day before, and so I won't go too much into detail, but I'll let you guys know it stars Dustin Hoffman. And he plays a guy who graduated from college who finds himself in several difficult situations, and his parents want him to move out of the house and get a real job, and he doesn't really know what he wants to do. I know a lot of people who graduate from high school or college end up in that position. They get a degree and they can't get a job. They don't know what they want to do. And his neighbor's wife also is trying to seduce him. That ain't good. So this song is dedicated to Mariko. She requested it. And the song in the film that we're going to play is by Simon and Garfunkel, who for people nowadays don't know who they are. They're one of the prolific musicians of the era. So here's The Sound of Silence from The Graduate original soundtrack. Once again, that was The Sound of Silence by Simon and Garfunkel from The Graduate original soundtrack. And like I said before, Simon and Garfunkel was one of the biggest musicians of that era. And a lot of young people probably don't know who they are. I recently saw a comedy TV show, and the actor was like, yes, it's what Simon and Garfunkel used to say. And the lady was like, oh, they're your doctors? So a lot of people nowadays don't know who they are, but you should check them out. Great music. And right now I want to go straight into the next request. And the next request comes from Hyun-ung. Wow, we have a request from actual Korean listener from a Korean film released in 2002 called Who Are You? And it's about an online dating game and the programmer's own search for love. And it stars the lovely Lee Na-young and the 멋진 and the cool guy Jo Sung-woo, a very, very great actor. So here's a song called Chow Chow by an amazing group called Deli Spice from the Who Are You original soundtrack. Check it out. Welcome back to the Drive-In, and now it's time for Behind the Screen with your man Eugene.
Hello, Ryan. I'm so tired.
Why are you so tired?
It's the day after Christmas, man.
I'm energized, man. I had some good gifts. I had a fun time with my friends.
Yeah, Christmas
some
is
good
awesome.
food.
You know, I feel like I'm not even here because, you know, my heart is at home in the States. So I feel like I'm almost not even here right now.
You know what? I felt that way for the first 5 or 6 years of living in Korea, but then now being here for almost 13 years.
Yeah.
I can't believe next year is going to be 14 years. Wow. And I have my own home here. So it feels like when I go back home, it feels like I'm just with family. Like, so it's like my mom and dad's house. But home to me now is here.
You've lived in Korea for most of your adult life, or all of your adult life then?
Pretty much.
Wow.
Because I flew to Korea right after high school. Mm-hmm. Literally, after graduation day.
Yeah.
Next morning.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
So you didn't have a time, you know, between college and high school where you get to...
Never had the time of my life.
Oh, yeah, you did.
And I never felt this way before.
Never felt this way. Okay.
It is Musical Wednesday, so.
No, actually, it is not Musical Wednesday.
No, originally it is.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just singing.
I see. Well, today we're going to do something special because you know that Tim Burton has his exhibition here in Korea at the moment. And he was here about, I guess, 2 weeks ago.
Timmy B was in town. That's my boy.
Timmy B. Tim Burton, right.
Yes.
So, he was here to promote his exhibition. And a little information about that. That's going to be running at the Seoul Museum of Art.
I've heard of it, never been there.
That is going to be running until April 14th, and it costs 12,000 won for adults, 10,000 won for teens, and 8,000 won for children under 12, okay? And, you know, here you can see lots of different pieces of artwork from movies like Edward Scissorhands, Batman, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Alice in Wonderland, and Frankenweenie. And about 700 of his sketchings and drawings and photographs. Right?
So he actually sketched all these himself?
Yeah, he did. He did. And I actually did go a few days ago with my wife, and it was great.
Really?
Yeah, you could see all the sketches and drawings. You can see, like... He actually has a vision for the movie before he makes the movie. And so with the sketches and everything, you look at the sketch.
That sounds like me.
Oh, yeah?
I have a vision for my album before I make an album. Like how it's gonna go, what direction.
Okay, but what I'm saying is, usually...
Don't put me down.
No, I'm not putting you down. I am not.
This is my show. I will get you fired, sir.
Come on, man. No, what I'm saying is, okay, if you think about it, like, when you draw a concept piece and then you give the concept to the art director and he puts his vision into there too, and then you give it to the person who's making the movie, the visuals and props, and he'll put their vision into it. So the final piece might be different from what you originally envisioned.
That is true.
But if you go and look at the exhibit, you'll find all these pieces of sketches and everything that actually look like they look in the movie. So he's, before he even conceived of the movie, he has a drawing or a sketch that looks almost exactly like that.
We should do that too.
We should do that too.
Yes.
On what, sketch stuff?
Yeah, and make movies out of them later on. You don't want to?
That would be great.
Yes, we'll be like the next Wachowski brothers or something.
Okay, except for I'm not going to get a sex change. I'm just kidding. Now, there are 860 pieces of the filmmaker's childhood drawings, paintings, and sketches. And, this was very popular. This is not the first time he's exhibited this stuff.
Okay.
He did also the same thing in New York in 2009, and it attracted more than 800,000 visitors in New York. But see, 800,000 in New York is not a lot, but I think there's just so much to do in New York that people probably didn't even know about it.
800,000 people coming to see one person's art is a lot.
Yeah, it is. But for New York, it's like kind of small numbers, I would think.
Timmy B.
But see,
don't get distraught by Eugene's comments.
No, but what I'm trying to say is that I think it's going to do much better than that in Seoul.
Hopefully.
Because,
And what if it doesn't? Then what are you going to do? Are you going to buy all the admission tickets and...
Well, I don't have that much money. but I think, Korea's centrally located, so people can come here from Japan, China, anywhere in the region. And I'm sure they're going to be like, I want to see the Tim Burton Museum. And they'll go there and look at all his stuff. And this is the only place that you could possibly see it, all right?
Alrighty. Well, we have to listen to a song right now, though.
Oh, we do? Okay,
yes.
Well,
because Eugene's too into this information giving that he forgot we have to play songs here on this program.
All right. So one of the first things you can see from here is a lot of artwork from Edward Scissorhands. So we got a song from Edward Scissorhands that was requested by Nikki. Here's the Ice Dance.
That was Ice Dance. Did you want to dance?
Absolutely.
From Edward Scissorhands. Oh, that rhymes. Ice Dance from Edward I can't say this name. Edward Scissorhands.
Edward Scissorhands was a good movie.
It's a great movie.
Okay. So, we're talking about Tim Burton and what a great, prolific director he is.
He is.
So, do you have any questions for me about Tim Burton?
Tell me how his career got started.
All right. Well, when he was really young, he used to make stop-motion films in his backyard with an old camera. So he had an old 8mm camera, and he was in his backyard doing stuff. He said some of the influences were Dr. Seuss and Roald Dahl, and he got a lot of inspiration from the old classic horror films like Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein, and he liked the Godzilla movies too.
So me and Tim Burton have something in common. I love horror movies. Yes.
So then he went to Cal Arts in Santa Clara, California, and I think he went to Disney after that. Ooh. But his vision was very different from what Disney wanted, So they're all about family-oriented stuff, and he did this movie called Frankenweenie, which is an animated short at the time, and they spent a lot of money on it, and it was like, that's too scary for kids to watch. But, he did eventually, after he got fired from Disney, he did eventually get his breakthrough in directing with the movie Pee-wee's Big Adventure. You remember that movie?
Pee-wee's Playhouse. I remember that. The TV show, remember?
TV show, yes. That was had nothing to do with Tim Burton, but of course the Pee-wee's Big Adventure. If you look at this movie, you can see that he has a lot of his influences.
Hey, I'm Pee-wee Herman.
I love Pee-wee Herman. He's so great. So actually, Pee-wee Herman, now, he's actually the reason why Tim Burton's directing career got started, because before he wasn't a director, but I guess Pee-wee Herman saw the Frankenweenie short, and he's like, that's the kind of imagery I want in my movie. That's the kind of imagery I want in my movie.
But I'm pretty sure the real guy who plays Pee-wee Herman doesn't talk like that in real life.
Paul Rubens? Yes. Yeah, he doesn't, obviously. But, so, Pee-wee's Big Adventure was about Pee-wee Herman has this really awesome bike, and somebody steals it, and he goes across the country trying to get it back.
Look for it, yes.
So, it's kind of not a very deep plot, you would say. But, based on what they're working with, he has really put his imagery in there. There's angry clowns and weird nightmarish stuff. Like there's one scene where
that
the
movie
devil
actually was scary for me as a young child.
Really?
Yes.
Think
about it. I hate clowns.
You hate clowns. Well, you got the clown with the angry face on him.
Exactly.
And you get the clown doctor. And then there's one scene where the bike is actually, in the hospital and the doctors are working on it and he removes the mask and he has this laughing clown face and looks like...
That's why I hated that movie.
And then the bike, I guess it dies and the devil comes out and takes it to, heck. Okay, but this is also the first time that Tim Burton worked with Danny Elfman. And Danny Elfman and Tim Burton have been, a pair ever since that. And they've, every movie that Tim Burton has done, Danny Elfman's been there, except for one or two of them. But, it's had really great music. And speaking of Danny Elfman, shall we listen to a song from Danny Elfman?
We shall.
From Pee-wee's Big Adventure. This is The Breakfast Machine.
Check it out. That was The Breakfast Machine by Danny Elfman from the Pee-wee's Big Adventure original soundtrack.
The Breakfast Machine. I really like that. I thought that was really creative, The Breakfast Machine.
It was creative, but if you listen to the song without knowing that scene, it sounds like a horror scene.
Yeah, it does. With clowns, right?
Oh my gosh.
It sounds like they'd be dancing
If
clowns.
I was a child again watching this movie, I would have a heart attack with those clowns.
Oh, really?
Those clowns are scary.
But back to, you remember the scene that was playing during, it had like the whole breakfast machine in there, and
I wish I had a breakfast machine.
But you wonder how long that would take to set up. Like, you have the egg, the ball goes down the chute and it hits the thing.
Well, if you're a nerd and you're really good with those kind of things, I don't think it would take that long.
I think it would be faster just to make breakfast yourself, though.
Yeah, but if you get the machine set up,
yeah.
Every morning all you gotta do is push a button,
yeah,
and boom. You can take a shower, come out, and the breakfast ready for you.
Well, actually, he started it by lighting a candle that broke a string that dropped a weight on something. So, I don't know. I saw it recently. But anyway, let's talk more about Tim Burton. After Pee-wee's Big Adventure, he gained more notoriety with the movie Beetlejuice.
Ooh, love that movie.
And, this one had Alec Baldwin, Gina Davis, and Michael Keaton as Beetlejuice himself. And then after Beetlejuice... I guess because Michael Keaton and Tim Burton worked together.
Batman!
Exactly. So Michael Keaton became Batman.
And Danny DeVito was the little...
That was the penguin.
Yes.
But that was going to be that was actually in Batman Returns, which was...
Oh, Joker was in the first one. That's
Joker
right.
was for Jack Nicholson as the Joker.
That's right.
Actually the first Batman movie, I've seen it again recently.
You didn't like it?
I can't figure out what the plot is. I mean, it's great.
I still liked it.
It looks beautiful. It's
I liked
great.
it. Yeah.
And Jack Nicholson is also great as the Joker, but it's just like, it's really difficult to see what the plot is. I much preferred the one with Danny DeVito. It was 2 years later, Batman Returns.
Well, then Michelle Pfeiffer was in part 1 or 2?
Michelle Pfeiffer
as Catwoman
was in part 2
with Danny DeVito.
Yes.
Okay.
I think Kim Basinger was in the first one, and she was his girlfriend, Vicky Vale. But
Vicky Vale, Batman. Remember the song?
If you remember back in school, yeah, of course I remember that song. Back in school in 1989 when that came out, everybody was into Batman so much, and they had Batman shirts, Batman hats, Batman socks, Batman underwear. I'm sure. And
I didn't have all that. My parents wouldn't buy me.
Well,
that stuff.
I had a pair of those All-Star canvas shoes. I had a pair of those, except for instead of the All-Star symbol, it had the bat.
See, you're lucky. Symbol. Your parents bought you that kind of stuff. Me and my brother, we had to work for things, so I had my brother's hand-me-downs.
Okay, well, this was on sale, like super clearance or something. That I had to work too, and I had my
super clearance.
See, I had my younger brother's hand-me-downs when I was growing because he's bigger than me, and that's embarrassing, When you're getting, it's more hand me up.
I'm sorry, I took you to a dark place. He's crying now.
Not fair. Okay, but after Batman, he went on to do Edward Scissorhands, and then of course he did all this other stuff like The Barber of Fleet Street, and he did so many other movies. So he is a really great actor. There's some future things that he is going to work on. One of those is the adaptation of The Addams Family.
Oh,
right. And there's another film adaptation of something called Monsterpocalypse.
Okay.
Which, that seems really interesting. You got all the monsters and they're fighting each other, So
that'd be cool.
Dracula versus Frankenstein versus the Mummy versus...
That sounds like a cool video game idea, too.
Yeah, it would. And you could make a video game like Street Fighter. It'd be like Monsterpocalypse. And what do you think Dracula's special move... Oh, wait, they did make this video game. It's called Darkstalkers. Remember that game?
I never saw that game.
Oh, okay. Anyway, let's continue. This year he made the Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, which that was also a very good movie.
Oh, he did that movie. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yes, he did. He's done a lot of movies that I didn't know he did that movie. Like, it surprises you. But he always adds his image to it and his own vision, and you can just tell it. So much. But probably the movie with the most amount of his, artwork and his imagination there is Beetlejuice. So let's listen to a song from Beetlejuice. This is Harry Belafonte with Jump in the Line. Shake, Senora. Remember that song? And I will see you next week, Brian.
See ya. That was Harry Belafonte with Jumpin' Line Shake Senora from the Beetlejuice original soundtrack. Right now it's time to wrap up the show. I know what you're thinking is too short, but please stick around because 1013 Main Street with An Jung-hyun is next. And come back tomorrow because Christina will be here for her final Romantic Thursday. Oh, the word final is so sad. Christina, she's leaving us. I'm going to miss her so much. She's such a sweet, sweet, independent, strong woman. So wherever she goes, I hope she succeeds in everything that she does. And you know, the second half of the show, we've talked about Batman, Superman, all the superheroes. So, actually, the last song for the day is from Tina Turner with We Don't Need Another Hero from the Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome original soundtrack. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.